Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to discuss about one of the pillar of communication skills, that is written communication. And under this particular pillars of communication, we are going to discuss about the elements of the letter. So earlier you all must have written the formal letters, the informal letters, but today we are going to discuss about the business letters. So let's discuss about written communication. Now written communication and elements of a business letter, it is one of the subtopic of elements of business letters. Before I explain you elements of a business letters, first of all we must understand what is the requirement of, why do we require written communication. So all of you are aware and you must have gone through so many times giving your correspondence through the written communication. So that's why nowadays, though we are too much acquainted with the technologies, we are using online platform and so many means of social media, even though we require the written correspondence, and nowadays we are using the business correspondence through the written form. So that is why for that purpose we require the written communication. So there are certain basic parameters you all must have gone through about the written communication. First of all, there are two types: formal letters and informal letters. Informal letters. Here under formal letters, whatever the correspondence we have to deal with for the purpose of the formal organization, for the purpose of maintaining the correspondence to any organization in house or out house, for that purpose we maintain the formal communication. Informal communication, like the written letters, we generally drop to our relatives or our friends. So we are dealing here not the formals and informal letters, but we are today dealing with the business letter, that is for the perspective of maintaining the business correspondence. There are certain parameters or elements which we need to deal with. First of all, when we deal with the elements of a business letter, we add on, that is sender's address. Now you must understand where all the elements of a business letter should be in the business letter format. So the sender's address should be on the left hand margin. For example, assume that this is the A4 page size, and here on this particular page, this is the left hand margin and this is the right hand margin. This is the top center of the page. So sender's address will be mentioned on the left hand margin, and as per the latest format of a business letter, nowadays we are following the full block form of a letter. Full block form of a business letter. Later on I will be discussing about what are the other formats that we are not using nowadays, but as per the latest format of a business letter, we need to deal with the full block format of a business letter. So first element that we should use, that is sender's address, and what are the headings or what are the details one should include in the sender's address. So the address of the organization should be added, organization, then fax number if any, then website number if any, mobile number, landmark. These are the basic details to be included under the heading, that is sender's address. But remember one thing, there are two patterns of maintaining the letters. One is solicited and one is unsolicited. So you must understand what are the solicited letters and what are the unsolicited letters. Solicited letters are those kinds of letters where we are already having the sender's address, or we are dropping the letter on the letterhead of the organization. Say for example, take the example of your IPS organization itself. So if you are dropping the letter on the letterhead of the organization, then you need not to mention all the details be covering the sender's address, because all these details will already be printed on the letterhead of the organization. And the second one, when we are dropping the letter on our own initiation, where we need to maintain all the details. First one, sender's address. Then the second element of a business letter is reference number, date. Generally we can maintain two kinds of date. First one is American format and the second one is British format. So according to American format, we can maintain the date like MM, DD and YY concept. Here the month name will be first, then the date and then the year. But as per as we can also follow the British format of maintaining the date in a business letter, it should be DD, MM, YY format. Now the basic difference between both the formats, and you can apply any one of it, either the American one or the British one, it is depending on the choice of the drafter. But one thing that should be keep in mind that the month name should be in the alphabets form. Here again, means for example, take the example of the date. So today is the 22nd of January and 2025. So if I'll mention this date in a business letter, so date number will be in the numerical form, but the month name will be in the alphabet form as I have written here. This should not be written in the form of the number. 01 should not be placed here. I hope it is clear. Then as per the British format it is, if we'll go for the American one, then this month name will be shifted in the first. Here it is going to be month name, then date and then year. Next one is after date. The third is reference number. All of you must be not acquainted with this terminology, reference number. What is reference number and why do we require to maintain reference number in a business letter? The reference numbers are, you can say for example, we can take the example of your enrollment number, your roll number of the class, because these are the certain alphabet numerical formats we can use just to make the identification of which kind of particular business letter we have dropped earlier. For example, it is not like that in any organization 200, 500, 100 kinds of letters can be dropped within a month or within the span of 15 days. So it is very difficult to maintain that which particular type of letter has been dropped to which particular type of organization. So to avoid certain kind of arrangement or reference in a business letter, we maintain certain alphabets plus numeric form, and this alphabet plus numeric form is known as the reference number. One more thing, that reference number can be made by the individual organization to individual organization, and anyone can design as per the requirement of their need. Whatever the requirement of their department, say their organization, they can make their own reference number depending on the choice of the drafter. So for example, if I am dropping the inquiry letter to any organization and the number of the organization is 01, for say I have given a code to it, and then the number of letter is 25. So this is going to be the reference number for that particular type. That 24 letters has been already dropped to particular one number, organization or department, and the letter kind is inquiry letter. The next one is, I hope it is clear, so I am clearing the board. The next element of a business letter is inside address. Inside address is also known as the receiver's address. Here, what are the elements to be included in the inside address or the receiver's address? The name of the organization, then the address. In case if you are not aware about the designation to whom or the concerned individual you are sending, then you can add his name. If you know, if you do not know, add his designation. If you do not know, then in that condition the department name will be applicable, otherwise the name of organization will also be sufficient. So in inside address you need to give the address of the concerned receiver organization. Suppose for example, here on behalf of IPS Academy, I am dropping a letter, business letter to the Medicaps University, that is Outhouse University. So in that condition, I should mention the Medicaps University's address in the receiver's address. I hope it is clear. That is nothing new in this. Then the next element is number fifth one is the salutation, This is the very well known terminology, all must have used in any of the informal or formal letters. Salutation, it is a courteous beginning of your letter. Generally salutation we take dear sir, dear ma'am. Earlier we used to write down dear sir or ma'am and then place a comma after it. But nowadays we have already omitted the word dear from the salutation and we generally use sir or ma'am, whichever the case is applicable. But there is one thing, if you do not know that the concerned person to whom you are dropping the letter is he or she, you are not aware about the gender of the person, in that condition you can use both and the slash mark is showing whichever is applicable. So you can use both if you do not know whosoever you are dropping the letter. If you know already either the sir or ma'am, then in that condition you can use any one of it. So I hope it is clear. Then the sixth one is after salutation the subject. Here you need to mention SUB subject short form, then place a colon, always there be a colon after the subject. You can write down the full as subject like this. So after subject you need to write down within one phrase, one clause or one statement what type or what are the contents are going to be in the body of the letter. So that is why your subject should be the eye-catching, a phrase, a clause or a statement that should convey what your next part, that is the body of the letter, will speak about. So that should be highlighting or conveying about the subject matter of your body of the letter. Then next one is body of the letter. Now body of the letter, generally in a business letter we have bifurcated the body of the letter in generally three parts. First one is opening line, the middle part and then the closing line. So generally whenever we drop the business letter or we can say the letters, we never bifurcate the body of the letter into three categories. But as far as the requirement of a business letter, we need to bifurcate opening, middle and closing line of a business letter. Why? The one reason that opening line should always be eye-catching and it should convey within one statement or a phrase that what we are talking about, what kind of letter we are going to drop. For example, if I am dropping the inquiry letter on the basis of to any concerned software developing company, I need to buy any software for my language lab. So in that condition, I should inquire about what kinds of softwares are available in that organization. So for that purpose, in my opening line, it should be straight away conveyed that I need to purchase so and so. For that purpose, the language lab software, please quote the availability of the software with so many details. अब details कौन सी होगी? The middle part. Here generally we prefer to make the tabular form in the middle part, say serial number, particulars, then price, any discount, codes, or sometimes we do not need to mention it, but any particular verification we can say, or particular varieties if they have. So generally in middle part of our body of the letter, we maintain the tabular form of whatever the things we require to the concerned organization, that we need to mention in the middle part of the body of the letter. So that is why at a glance whosoever is going to read the letter, they will be knowing what is our requirement as far as the inquiry letter I am talking about. Then the closing line. So it should be again within one particular phrase or a clause or a statement that should convey that what is your particular expectation from the concerned organization to which you are dropping your business letter, and then accordingly they are going to reply you. So I hope that this is body of the letter is clear. The next one is the courteous leave ending or complimentary closure. So in complimentary closure or close we can say, generally it is to be called as the courteous leave ending note of your business letter. That means from here the salutation, the courteous beginning of your business letter, you have started your business letter, and then through complimentary closure with the courteous leave ending note, you have ended your body of the letter. So this is actually the soul of your business letter, and these are the ornaments of your business letter. We can understand in that way also. So complimentary closer will be generally yours sincerely, faithfully should not be added here, then obediently will not be here because we are maintaining the same status and position. One thing that should be taken in mind or consider that whenever we are writing the complimentary closer, say though there are two words, yours and sincerely. So in that condition, the first word, its initial letter will always be the capital, and there will be no possessive case. Generally most of the students, they commit the mistake while maintaining the yours and they put the apostrophe. It is grammatically incorrect because yours is itself is used in the plural form. It is not used in the possessive case. So that is why avoid using yours apostrophe. Simply write down yours. Do not write down the first initial words, first letter in the small form like this. It should always be in the capital form, yours, and then the second word's initial letter. So for example, here I have written sincerely, so its initial letter is S and it will be in the small form or the lowercase, we can say. It should not be in the capital form. If you are only using sincerely, means one word is used here in the complimentary closer, then this S will become capital because no other word is here. So if you are using two words, so yours will be initial letter will be in the capital form, but if you are using only one word, so its initial letter will be in the capital form. I hope it is clear because most of the students, they commit the mistake writing down the complimentary closer. Here we can say that the elements, your beginning of the letter from sender's address to the complimentary closer, one go of the letter is over here. Then there are certain additional documents or additional part of your business letter which provide strength to your letter. So in that condition, what are the things we should mention? Number 9. Number 9 is identification mark. Now what is identification mark? It is nothing else rather than the details of the drafter of a business letter. So for example, I am drafting the business letter on behalf of the organization. I am here the drafter. So what are the basic details regarding the drafter has to be maintained in the identification mark. We can say, we can understand this in this manner. Name of the drafter should be here. Name of the drafter, then before his or her name there has to be the signature. Generally students commit mistake that after the name they place their initials or the signature, but write down your name first and then place your signature before your name. Then the designation should be here, whatever the designation you bear. After designation there should be the name of the department, to which particular department you belong to. After the department, the name of the organization should be. So these are the basic details of the drafter. One should mention while on particular any of the organization on their behalf if they are drafting the letter. So these are the basic details to be mentioned. Then your contact number generally we can mention. Otherwise at least name of the organization should be there. This is how the business letter ends. There are few certain additional elements which depends on the requirement of the business letter. Suppose if you have added along with your business letter, there are certain attachments. If you wish to send your business letter to the concerned different organizations or different departments, so in that condition what you need to do, you need to make a copy notation so that that particular letter should not be revised or drafted again and again, and the same copy has to be circulated to the concerned departments wherever the drafter wish to send. So that is known as the copy notation. Second part is the enclosure. Suppose you have added along with your business letter certain strength like the consignment copy, the bill copy, or the original documents check, or draft, anything else if you have added along with your business letter, so that are to be enclosed along with your business letter. One by one I am explaining. Number 10 is enclosure. How enclosure is to be written in a business letter? ENCL short form, then place a colon and then write down in the sequence to which you have attached the document along with your business letter in the same sequence. Suppose here you have added the copy of the consignment, here the copy of the agreement, here the copy of the bill. So this three sequencing should not get disturbed. In the same sequence you have to attach along with your business letter. Then the next one is copy notation. Copy notation is not a new terminology. Most of the students, you all have the email IDs. So they are also in your email ID. If you wish to drop your email to the concerned different person or different higher authorities, there also you will find such kinds of C, CC, BC and then BCC. These are the parts also available in the email IDs also, wherever you will just place the particular email ID, or we can say email identification mark. So what you need to do is, which particular type of copy notation you would like to add along with your business letter. So for example, if you are writing simply CC2, so CC to whom? In that condition you need to maintain all departments, for this example all the departments. Sometimes you can also write down the concerned particular individual name. If you wish to send CC to or copy to, this can also be written copy to, and the name of the person to whom you are dropping your business letter. So these are the particular identification mark, or we can say copy notation, to which you need not to reframe your business letter again and again of the same type, of the same cause, and you can send your business letter to different departments if required. I hope that copy notation is clear. Then the last part, which should not be frequently used because it shows the negative aspect or the careless attitude of a drafter, and that is the last entity, postscript. As the name postscript itself suggests, post means later on and script means drafting. So postscripts are generally to be written when, for example, you forgot in your body of the letter to maintain certain recommendations, suggestions, certain information which you found later on that it was very important for the perspective of your business letter, and you drop the business letter. In that condition, what you can do, you need not to again go for writing the business letter. What you can do, you can just go for the reference number, then the date of the letter, and then you can mention the postscript. These three things will be important in that condition, that you write down on which particular date the letter has been dropped, what was the reference number, and what was the PS. But generally, if you are dropping the postscript in a simple business letter, that shows that how careless attitude one is having while drafting the written communication, because orally if you say, and that can be denied, but written communication is more authentic, it provides the legalization. You cannot deny after writing down and placing your initial. That is why written communication has its own impact. So I hope that we have gone through today the elements of a business letter that comes under the category of written communication. One by one we have discussed all the elements of a business letter: senders, date, reference number, inside address, then salutation, subject, body of the letter, complimentary closure, identification mark. We have also discussed about the additional part, enclosure, copy notation, and the postscript. So these are the elements to be covered today, and we will be covering the next part of the written communication in the upcoming lectures. Thank you to all. Have a nice day.